Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your RAG system can fail because you picked the wrong index, not because your model is bad.
Exactly. HNSW and IVF are both ways to search vectors fast, but they win in different situations, and the wrong choice changes latency, recall, memory, and even what kind of product you can ship.
So, this is not a minor tuning detail. This is architecture.
Right. If you are building retrieval for chat, support, code search, or internal docs, the index decides how quickly and how reliably you can find the right chunks before the LLM ever sees them.
Give me the high-level picture first. What is HNSW without the math lecture?
HNSW is a graph-based index. Think of your vectors as points connected by useful shortcuts. At query time, you hop through that graph, moving from one neighbor to a better neighbor, until you reach strong matches.
So, instead of scanning everything, it navigates.
Exactly. Practical example. Imagine a RAG assistant over legal contracts. A user asks about termination clauses. With HNSW, the search can quickly walk toward clusters of semantically similar clauses, even when the wording is different across documents.
And IVF.
IVF stands for Inverted File Index. High level, it first groups vectors into buckets, or coarse clusters. Then, at query time, it picks the most promising buckets and searches mostly inside those, instead of across the full dataset.
So, HNSW is like navigating a city with shortcuts, and IVF is like first choosing the right neighborhood.
That is a good mental model. HNSW says, follow relationships. IVF says, narrow the search space early. Both are trying to avoid brute force, but they pay different costs to do it.
Now, the tension. Why do these two lead to different trade-offs for RAG teams?
Because they optimize different things. HNSW is often favored when you want strong recall and low latency for interactive search, especially when query quality matters a lot. IVF is often attractive when scale and efficiency matter, especially if you can tolerate a bit more approximation and tune bucket probing carefully.
Put that into a product scenario, not index jargon.
Say you are building a customer support copilot for agents. If retrieval misses the one policy paragraph that changes a refund decision, that is expensive. HNSW is often appealing there because teams value retrieval quality and consistency. But if you are searching a huge multi-tenant corpus with strict infrastructure budgets, IVF can be easier to scale economically.
So one side risks bad answers, the other side risks big bills.
That is the strategic trade. HNSW can consume more memory because the graph needs extra structure. IVF can be more compact and operationally attractive, but your results depend heavily on whether the right bucket gets searched.
And in RAG, missing the right chunk is not a small error. The model will confidently build on whatever you gave it.
Exactly. Retrieval errors are upstream errors. If the index drops the best evidence, the LLM may sound polished while being wrong. That is why HNSW versus IVF is really about failure modes, not just speed.
Let's talk updates. Real systems are not static. New docs arrive every hour.
Good point. For a live knowledge base, you care about how painful inserts and maintenance feel in practice. HNSW is often loved for fast query performance, but operational behavior still matters. IVF can fit workflows where data is organized in batches, or where teams are comfortable with periodic rebuilds and tuning around cluster quality.
Give me another concrete example. Say I run an internal company assistant over product docs, Slack exports, and incident write-ups.
If employees ask nuanced questions like, why did the payment outage happen, and what was the workaround, recall matters a lot, because the answer may be spread across weirdly phrased documents. HNSW can be a strong fit if you want high-quality nearest neighbors with minimal drama at query time. But if your corpus explodes across many teams and regions, IVF may become attractive because it can help control search cost at large scale.
So, the winner changes depending on what hurts more, missing context or paying for retrieval.
Yes, and there is another power shift here. Early-stage teams often choose whatever gives the best-looking demo. Later, when usage grows, the economics show up. The index that felt brilliant at 10 million vectors may feel painful at 100 million.
That sounds like a trap. You optimize for demo quality, then get punished in production.
Or the reverse, you optimize too hard for infrastructure efficiency, and your retrieval quietly underperforms, so your LLM team keeps tweaking prompts to fix a search problem. That is a common and expensive mistake.
If you had to give a programmer a simple decision lens, what is it?
Start with the question, what is more dangerous for this product, false confidence from missed context or rising search cost at scale? If quality and interactive responsiveness dominate, HNSW deserves serious attention. If dataset size, efficiency, and controlled search scope dominate, IVF may be the better starting point.
And I should not treat either one like a universal best practice.
Exactly. HNSW is not automatically smarter, and IVF is not automatically cheaper in the only way that matters. The right index is the one that fails in the least harmful way for your product.
So, for RAG builders, this is the real takeaway. Choose the index based on the mistake you can afford.
Yes, because in retrieval, your architecture makes the first decision, and the LLM only gets to speak after that.